Hi there, back again. So this is gonna be this is gonna be a weird little series. No, it's not. I mean, hopefully not. I'm gonna record it and we'll see if I release it. So if you're watching this, it might be delayed on the release just so I can double check and make sure that I can actually do this. So one of the things that I've been hoping to do is to start working as an official CERT TESOL or CELTA or one of the the language certification programs. So I've been wanting to do this for a while, and a friend of mine asked me the other day. He said, "Why do you want to work with CELTA?" Um, and And a lot of people do. I mean, I think everybody has their own reasons for it, but let me tell you mine. So, and I'm not trying to criticize or point fingers, and I understand that everyone in this world has their own style and their own experiences and how they interact with people. So, one of the things that happened was I had some terrible experiences with official training courses. I did. And not all, but overwhelmingly, I would say it's tipping more towards negative than positive. And one of the it's funny because when you finish the course, it's all positive because it's done. But during the course, I think that that's the most important time because that's the time that you're there to learn and to develop and I've just had some terrible experiences. Nothing traumatic, nothing that I haven't been able to bounce back afterwards, but it definitely showed me the type of person, the type of trainer that I would have wanted to have, and the type of trainer that I absolutely never want to be considered by other people. So the motivation behind doing CELTA is, as a trainer, is that I want for people to have better experiences because I really understand what it's like to be lost, to not feel like you're being supported. And I know that the process is individual, but having someone that is actually wants you to succeed and you feel that they want you to succeed. I mean, whether you do or not, that's up to you. You have to put in the work, put in the effort. But having a person there that actually it's clear that they want you to succeed, I think is one of the most important things. So, my motivation behind being a CELTA tutor and starting this whole process is that I actually wanted people to have good experiences. I wanted them to look back and say, the best part about it wasn't just getting the certificate or wasn't just, finishing the course. The best part about it was that whole experience. It was great. And I know that CELTA and Delta and CERT TESOL and DIP TESOL and all of the TEFL certifications, they're stressful. They are stressful, but um, growth comes from outside your comfort zone. And so a little bit of stress is fine. But knowing that you have someone there that really genuinely just wants you to succeed, I think is pretty important. And I'm not saying this about all of the people that I've worked with in my life. I'm just saying that some of them have been quite clearly not on my side, which is fine. I am not everyone's cup of tea. I'm definitely a shot of whiskey. So there it is. Um, let me get into it. Here's my, I guess we can say, video journal of my process going through the CELTA trainer and training program. And I wanted to document it because, well, first of all, it's hilarious looking back at these like a few, even weeks later, but maybe years later, and seeing how ridiculous I am and how my ideas and thoughts have changed over time. And I just think it's kind of a fun way of documenting things and seeing personal and professional growth. So, the first thing that I had to do to become a trainer in training was to make sure that all of my certifications, my credentials, I don't want to say certifications, but credentials were in order. So I really needed to focus on making sure that I was as prepared as possible and I had as much um, experience and background and knowledge as I possibly could to enter into this new phase. Then, so I finished my Delta course last year, and then I took Train the Trainer um, with the fantastic Sergio Leans, and he was wonderful. And so that he was one of the positive ones. And I realized that having that environment is really good and really supportive. So after I took the CELTA, the Delta, the Train the Trainer, I took an advanced methodology course too. I've had over a decade of experience at this point, and so I said, okay, so now I think it's my time. I think I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm still not sure. I feel like an amateur still, which is weird. It's like uh, I'm starting all over again because I'm trying to get into that next level. Like, when you're in Mario Brothers and you go to the next level and you're really small, like that's how I feel. I'm like, oh God, I hope I can make it. So, um, so yes, so now I'm starting this journey at CNA, and I'm really excited because I have a good group of people around me, and they're quite supportive, and the process so far has been really good. But what I had to do to get that opportunity was to send out a million, million messages, resume, emails, you name it, contacting every center. And the thing about it is, a lot of centers have CELTA, but a lot of centers don't or are not accepting new trainers because for whatever reason. It's not because they don't necessarily like you or you're not qualified to do it. It's just that you have to get really lucky with timing. That's what I have to say, that I was super, super lucky because of timing. And I happened to finish all of my programs that I was doing, the courses that I was doing, and I was mentally ready to take on this challenge when there was an opening. So sometimes I think you might have to wait a year or two, or maybe a couple months to try and get into that. I was really lucky that my personal timeline lined up with the timeline at CNA. So I'm really excited about that. But yeah, so don't get discouraged. I don't think it's anything personal. It's usually just timing is off. Once you get the timing down, then it goes okay. So exchanged emails back and forth. And next week, I actually get to start the course. Um, and so let's look at a little bit of some of the requirements. I am not going to give you lots of details because I actually don't know legally if I can, but I'm going to kind of tell you the process that I went through. So I contacted the centers, like I said, million emails, and some of them came back to me. Some of them weren't looking at the time, but they wanted to like to see if I was available for the next year, etc. And I finally was able to connect with CNA, with Barbara at CNA, and she said, we're going to try and get groups together for this semester, and hopefully we'll be able to get enough groups together that you can join, and we'll try to make the arrangements. Perfect. So that was great. And then it all came together very quickly because that's the other thing people have to understand, that these programs are dependent upon enrollment. And it was touch and go because if there's not enough people in a course, then the centers can't open the course. And so just because you are a CELTA tutor doesn't mean that you have work all the time, unless you're a freelancer, but freelancing okay, that's a whole nother episode. And so what happened is they were able to get groups together, and they were able to get groups together this week. It's Saturday, so this week. And I got confirmation emails on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, I was contacted by the main tutor, who was fantastic. If you don't know him, then you must. He's a great person. And then on Thursday, so I was contacted, confirmed on Wednesday. Thursday, I got an email from Rubinho, and then I was participating in interviews already, which is hilarious. It was just like, okay, and here we go. So And so I participated in the interviews, and by participation, I don't mean that I was actually doing anything necessarily. I was taking like 5 pages of notes and of everything that he asked and the answers and just kind of the whole process and reflecting on the whole process. So and then we had a brief chat once the candidate had left the interview. So we stayed a little bit afterwards, had a chat, and yeah, this morning, yesterday it was Friday. Yesterday he sent me the all the requirements that you have as being a trainer in training. Now, this is a really extensive list, and for people who think that it's just kind of like, okay, I'm going to start training, and then it's not. I understand Cambridge is the idea behind it. They need to really make sure that people understand the purpose of being a trainer, the purpose, like why you're there, what their intention is of having you certified to be able to give that course, etc. So they make it as standardized as possible with portfolio documentation, and you receive like a checklist kind of things that you need to do before, during, and after the first CELTA that you teach. T- uh, I don't know. Participate. I don't even know what verbs to use. I'm learning still, so this is gonna be a learning journal. Um, anyways, yeah. So yeah, so there is a lot of documentation, and you have to be able to participate in at least 80% of the sessions. I wasn't planning on missing anything because why would I? Like, I want to watch everything. So it is quite a big commitment. And as you're not only are you participating, I would say CELTA for a trainer in training is as um not stressful, but as demanding and challenging as CELTA for the candidates, because I've got a lot of things to do. I'm excited about it. I'm really happy to do it because I think it helps me grow and helps me get a better perspective on everything. But it is as demanding for the trainers in training, and sometimes for the trainers, as it is for the candidates, because everybody's an individual, and they have their own challenges, and some people have challenges with inexperience and not being in a classroom. Some teachers are experienced, so they're comfortable in the classroom, but they have language awareness issues. And so yeah, while you're working on your while those CELTs are working on, just getting through the program, I think the trainers also, from my perspective and seeing, I know that this time is a little different because I'm doing the training and I have lots of responsibilities in terms of building my portfolio and reports. But I think at the same time, as a trainer, it's quite challenging as well. It's not like a walk in the park, because if you really want to make sure that everybody's getting what they need, progressing as they should be, and leaving, and hopefully passing the program and leaving the program with a good solid base and foundation, then it takes a lot of time and effort and concentration on making sure that people's experience through the course is as beneficial and meaningful as possible. So I think that, it's demanding. It's just demanding in different ways. Um, so so that's my take on it. I'm excited. I'm going to get started on my checklist. I have a lot of things to do today and this weekend. I start next Tuesday with our sessions, and I'm going to have to give a couple lessons for the candidates to observe. Because if you've ever done CELTA, or if you know about CELTA, the as a candidate, you need to observe experienced teachers. So I'll be doing that both for CNA and for a couple other institutions that are running CELTA programs. So they usually ask for volunteer teachers. I'm always willing to help out. A little overloaded, but it's fine. I'll get through it. So yeah, I'm going to document this process, see how it goes. I'm really excited to start. I think it's really interesting, and I think that if people want to become like official trainers, and hopefully this will be beneficial to kind of see the process that I go through and my reflections on it. And I would be interested to hear your reflections on it because I think everyone does these things a little bit differently. And that's going to be it for today because I need to get started on this stuff to be actually be able to have a conversation about it. I'm excited though. I think it's going to be great. Um, I love training. Training is just fun for me. It's kind of what I like. So, and I aspire to be those trainers that had very positive impacts on me. So, and the two most recent ones, just as a shout out, Sergio Lins and Guilherme Pacheco. So those two have really impacted the way that I want to hold myself and the way that I want to support the candidates and the way that I want to make sure um, that it's beneficial um, for anyone going through training. So thank you. You too. My most recent fangirl crushing on them. Love them. And I'll be back with more. And stay tuned for this little journey. It's going to be quite the adventure.